We have only looked at Mars for signs of life, while Venus is our closest planet. Even when Venus is called Earth's sister, why do scientists show no interest to explore the possibility of life on Venus? While the planet remains scorching hot, but the clouds in the atmosphere are likely to be habitable, Venus may have a microbial life form floating in its atmosphere. So let's explore the possibility of life on Venus. But before, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Our first landing planetary probe was sent to Venus in 1970. After that, scientists lost interest in Venus, but instead, we sent dozens of probes to Mars. Last year, scientists found evidence of biological life in Venus's atmosphere, and of course, everyone is excited about this. Venus is our Earth's closer neighbor and even smaller. Venus is almost as big as Earth. It's only 5% smaller and has about 19% less mass. Its atmosphere is almost entirely made up of carbon dioxide. It's often known as Earth's evil sister, as the temperature there gets scorching hot like hell. Temperature on Venus averages around 750 degrees Fahrenheit, and the pressure is 90% higher than Earth's, which makes Venus a no-go zone. Any probe sent to Venus must also be able to withstand this hell-like temperature and pressure. Researchers believe that Venus was once a habitable planet with water and a more sustainable environment. But those days are long gone, leaving Venus with a much more harsh environment. Researchers believe that before 700 million years ago, Venus had oceans filled with water, and the temperature was much more habitable. But they are still unsure whether there was any life on Venus or not. A handful of spacecrafts that were ever landed on Venus were sent by the Soviet Union had trouble lasting minutes on the surface. The longest time that any spacecraft has ever spent on the Venusian surface is 20 minutes. It's simply because the spacecraft cannot resist the heat and pressure on the surface. However, even in that short time, they were able to send some images and data back to Earth, and in that data were some findings that are still unexplained to this day. While the Venusian surface is not something that humans will ever want to visit, its atmosphere hosts a level that is actually almost like Earth's environment in the solar system. There are two viewpoints about the formation of Venus. One is that Venus was always a hot and hellish planet like it is now, and the second is that Venus was once a more hostile planet with a liquid ocean. Well, if the second is true, could Venus have had microbial organisms living in it in the past? But the real question is, could any life that had been there still be present in the comfortable upper atmosphere? This is a very open question, having said that Venus has some atmospheric mysteries that are hard to reconcile without biology. In 1920, scientists observed unknown UV observers in Venus's atmosphere. This is highly unlikely to occur naturally, but even after a century, scientists can't figure out what's causing this. The next weird discovery from Venus is the discovery of Mode 3 particles in the lower clouds of Venus. The composition of these particles is still unknown, but Pioneer probe was able to determine the shape and size of these particles. They are non-spherical, meaning they're not liquid. Whatever these particles are, they are chemically new, which humans have never discovered. Oddly though, these particles just happen to be the same size of bacteria here on Earth. The next suspect that suggests life on Venusian atmosphere is the strange composition of gases that have no clear origin. Venus is filled with carbon dioxide, which comes from volcanic chain reactions. But recently, scientists discovered phosphine in the atmosphere of Venus. The detection of phosphine in the Venus atmosphere has left scientists baffled. On one hand, some scientists believe that phosphine in Venus is really low in volume, which could be a byproduct from a volcano. But some researchers said that the readings were wrong and there's no phosphine in the atmosphere of Venus. Interestingly, the team that made the initial discovery of phosphine have doubled down on the detection and that it is indeed real. We will leave a link to the research about phosphine in the description box below. It will need a lot of volcanoes on Venus to generate even such a tiny amount of phosphine. Even we have volcanoes here on Earth, but the phosphine here is believed to be generated biologically. There's also the argument being held that lightning is responsible for the detection of phosphine. However, this has not been held up even in the laboratory. Although it is interesting for sure, the presence of phosphine at Venus is not conclusive. Several research suggests there's a chemical disequilibrium in Venus, and something has to cause that. And with our planet Earth, that disequilibrium is caused by life forms. Our oxygen levels are due to plants, and there just isn't any other mechanism in Earth to generate high levels of oxygen. Venus also has some similar disequilibrium that we just don't understand yet. Biological life that exists here on Earth cannot simply exist on Venus. Venus is very dry, acidic, and really hot. If there is indeed life on Venus, it has to learn to thrive on such an environment. But at the same time, life on Earth may not be the only way that microbial life could work. It may simply be that the condition here on Earth allowed certain type of biochemistry to thrive. NASA has announced 2 new missions, DAVINCI Plus and VERITAS to Venus, which is due to launch between 2028 and 2030. Whether or not there is life on Venus, we need to be patient for a few more years to find out. If there is indeed life on Venus, it'll be completely different than any life forms that we currently know now. Space is weird. There's a lot of things that we just can't explain. When we look up at the sky, it feels like we're the center of the universe, but we're not, and there might not be any center at all. There's an infinite amount of space to your left and right, above and below you. You see all the stars and galaxies in your observable universe expanding away from you, which makes it appear as if you're at the center of it all. But the same is true for the person standing next to you. You can watch this video to find out more about the center of the universe. We'll leave a link in the description box below. This video was sponsored by people like you. If you found any value in this content, consider liking and subscribing to our channel. Also, don't forget to download our Android app from the Play Store. We'll have a link in the description box below. We have a lot of exciting videos coming in the future, so be sure to hit that bell icon to get updated. Till then, stay safe and we'll see you in our next video. Goodbye.